Michael Jordan is a name that nearly everyone knows about in the world. As a basketball player, Jordan stood above the rest as he became a global phenomenon. From his tongue-wagging, high-flying slam dunks to his iconic fadeaway, and of course to his Jordan shoes, MJ had it all. Today's video will be about the latter, the entire Jordan brand to be exact. We'll discuss the history of the brand and how Jordan was not going to sign with Nike until his mother set him straight, to how Jordan changed the way basketball players made their fortunes off the court. This is the story of the Jordan brand and how it became one of the biggest brands in the world. When we talk about the Jordan brand and how big of a global brand it is today, we must first go back to the beginning, before the world even knew who Michael Jordan was. Heck, before the world even knew what Nike was. Nike was originally known as Blue Ribbon Sports and was founded on January 25, 1964 by University of Oregon track athlete Philip Knight and his coach Bill Bowerman. The company was initially a distributor for the Japanese shoe company Tiger, now Asics. Knight had created the company to distribute Tiger running shoes in the United States, while Bowerman was fascinated with running shoes and how to make them better for his athletes. He constantly tinkered with different models, trying to come up with the perfect running shoe. Knight was the first student of Bowerman to give one of his shoes a try, and after seeing how well Bowerman's shoe worked for Knight, another student and teammate of Knight, Otis Davis, decided to give them a try. Davis won the gold medal in the 400-meter dash in the 1960 Olympics. What shoes did he wear in those Olympic Games? If you guessed Bowerman's shoes, then you'd be correct. To this day, Davis claims Bowerman's shoes were created for him, not Knight. As is the story Nike tells about their history, still, whichever version you believe, there is no denying that Bowerman had crafted an incredible shoe that was helping athletes perform better. Bowerman had always used shoes made in Germany. It wasn't until Blue Ribbon Sports was founded by Knight that they moved to Japan to get their shoes made, since it was cheaper to make shoes in Japan compared to Germany. Knight initially sold his shoes out from the trunk of his car in the United States, and he quickly realized people loved them. They loved the quality of the shoes as they matched that of the popular shoes of the day, Adidas and Pumas. Yet, they were being sold a lot cheaper than those other brands. In 1971, the company changed its name to Nike Incorporated, named after the Greek goddess of victory. The company's first logo, known as the swoosh, was designed by a graphic design student, Carolyn Davidson, in 1971. The logo is still in use today and is considered one of the most recognizable logos in the world. Today, Nike is one of the largest sportswear companies in the world with revenues of over $34 billion in 2020. The company operates numerous of retail stores worldwide and sells products in over 190 countries. Nike truly is the dominant shoe brand on the market. But the question now that has to be asked is, how did Nike become this big? This is where Michael Jordan comes in. In the early 1980s, Converse and Adidas ruled the basketball landscape. This was especially true of the Converse Weapon basketball shoes, as many popular NBA players wore them. This includes Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, who also appeared in a famous rap commercial about their favorite Converse Weapon shoes and the different shoe colors they wore, which matched their NBA team colors. With the basketball shoe market being dominated by big brand companies, there would be no way possible that a small up-and-coming company would be able to make even just a little noise, right? Sometimes when the odds are against us, we rise to the occasion and leap farther than we ever expected to. Take Michael Jordan. As a sophomore at Laney High School, he was cut from the varsity team. The reason for this was because the coaches felt Jordan needed to develop his skills more than his height, which was 5'10" at the time, wasn't good enough. This was especially true when you compare it to Jordan's friend Leroy Smith, who made the team. Smith was 6'7" at the time. Jordan could have given up and done something else with his life, but Jordan didn't do that. Oh no, MJ rose to the occasion. Trained harder than ever, came back the following year and not only made the varsity team, but became a high school basketball star. In college at the University of North Carolina, Jordan became a starter as a freshman from day one. His hard work and dedication led to Jordan feeling confident enough to take and make game-winning shot in the 1982 National Championship game. If you watched Jordan play in college, you could tell he was a special talent and had the potential to become a star in the NBA. This is why the people at Nike, especially Sonny Vaccaro, pushed to sign Jordan a deal. The only thing that stood in the way getting this deal made was MJ himself. As Jordan initially did not want to sign with Phil Knight's upstart company, can you imagine Michael Jordan running down the court on a fast break and rising in the air for a huge slam dunk, kicking his feet out the side as he's done, with a pair of Adidas on his feet? Sounds crazy, right? Well, if Jordan had his way, that is what would have happened. Michael Jordan never wore a pair of Nike shoes in his life after completing his 3 years at North Carolina. In college, Jordan wore Converse brand shoes like most basketball players at the time. When the idea came to him about getting his own shoe, Jordan wanted to sign with Adidas as that was his preferred shoe choice. The problem was Adidas did not make an offer to sign his Airness. Now, it is not like Adidas didn't believe Jordan was worthy of wearing their shoes or that he couldn't sell a shoe to save his life. No, they saw potential in the guard from North Carolina, but at the time Jordan was looking for a shoe deal, the company was going through a rough patch. Adi Dassler, who founded Adidas, passed away in 1978, leaving the company to his wife, who along with her son and 4 daughters ran the company. At the time Jordan was shopping around for a shoe deal, Adi Dassler's wife Kathy got sick and eventually passed away. So this was the main reason Adidas did not attempt to sign the NCAA champion. Another shoe company, the brand that was most popular in the NBA, Converse, looked to meet with Jordan and make him an offer. Jordan, who as mentioned earlier wore Converse while at UNC, surprisingly did not want to sign with Converse. He went to meet with the company only because of Converse ties with Dean Smith, Jordan's college coach. The main reason Jordan did not want to sign with Converse was that the brand already had the stars of the league signed with them. Jordan did not want to be just another name on a list of already big names. Plus, there was another reason. If you look throughout the history of the Jordan brand shoe, it has always been very innovative, with Jordan himself giving his ideas on each model. Apparently, when Jordan met with Converse, Jordan's father, James Jordan, was with him and he asked the company if they would be willing to innovate on the shoes he'd wear. This didn't go over well with Converse because in their minds, if they changed up a shoe for Jordan, a rookie, then they'd have to change up for other players' shoes, namely the stars like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. This was too much for Converse. And once Jordan found that the company wasn't going to let him share his thoughts on the shoes that he'd be wearing, Jordan left, still unsigned to a shoe brand. Let's jump back to Michael Jordan not wanting to meet with Nike. A meeting was scheduled for Jordan to meet with Nike, but the young athlete did not want to do it. Jordan's agent, David Falk, saw this as a great opportunity for his client. Nike was planning on designing a shoe for Jordan, just for him, a rookie. This is what MJ wanted, but he still wouldn't listen, not even to his agent. If a young man isn't listening to reason, who is the one person that make him listen? If you guessed his mother, then you'd be correct. Yes, Falk reached out to Jordan's mother, Dolores Jordan. Dolores now famously said to her son, thanks to the Last Dance documentary, "You're going to listen. You may not like it, but you're going to go listen." So Jordan did what any good son would. He listened to his mother and he met with the people from Nike. And at the meeting, the people from Nike showed a Jordan highlight tape of himself with the Pointer Sisters song Jump playing. Then they showed Jordan the iconic red and black shoe design. This was enough to convince Jordan to sign with Nike, and it was the best decision he and Nike had ever made. Nike offered Jordan $500,000 a year for 5 years with stock options as well. Jordan could potentially earn $7 million during those 5 years, and this was a ridiculous amount of money offered to any NBA player, especially a rookie. At the time Jordan signed with Nike, the biggest shoe contract in the league belonged to Jordan's UNC teammate James Worthy, who had an 8-year deal worth $150,000 a year with New Balance. This was a big gamble to make on a rookie who hadn't proved anything in the NBA, and Nike made sure to add some stipulations to the deal, so if Jordan turned out to be a bust, they could get out a deal. In Jordan's contract, Nike specified that Jordan had to accomplish at least one of these 3 things in his first 3 years in the NBA. Jordan had to either win Rookie of the Year, become an All-Star, or average at least 20 points per game in a season. Of course, Jordan would achieve all 3 of these in his rookie season. If Jordan had failed to achieve these demands, Nike would have been allowed to get out of their contract with Jordan after 2 years. Since Jordan is still part of the brand today, it looks like that was something he never really had to worry about. Michael Jordan has always been a loyal person. He was very loyal to Dean Smith and everything North Carolina Tar Heels. MJ was very loyal to Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen, famously saying he would not return for the 98-99 season if those two did not return. Since Jordan has proven to have his trait of being loyal, it should come as not surprised that Jordan would stay loyal to the brand that he really wanted to sign with, Adidas. After Nike pitched their contract to Jordan before he accepted the deal, Jordan actually went back to meet with Adidas. Jordan told Adidas about the offer from Nike and told them if they could come close to Nike's offer that he'd sign with them over Nike. As mentioned earlier, Adidas was going through a rough patch and declined to make an offer, and Jordan signed with Nike. Michael Jordan was now a Nike athlete, and from the beginning, Jordan and his first signature shoe would catch the attention of everyone and cause some controversy within the NBA. Michael Jordan was drafted 3rd by the Chicago Bulls in the 1984 NBA draft. Jordan quickly became one of the most exciting and marketable players in the NBA. His signature shoe, the Air Jordan 1, was released in 1985 and was an instant success. Designed by Peter Moore, the Air Jordan 1 was a simple design that matched the other basketball shoes of the era. But the color of the shoe Jordan first wore would quickly catch the attention of everyone, and it led to Nike selling 1.5 million pairs in the first 6 weeks of their release. The Air Jordan 1 was initially banned by the NBA for not following their uniform policy, which stated all sneakers must be primarily white and share the team's uniform colors. The shoe featured an iconic black and red colorway known as the Bread colorway and became a cultural phenomenon that is one of the most sought after sneaker designs even to this day. Because of the black and red colorway, the NBA decided to fine Jordan $5,000 per game for every game he wore the Nike Air Jordan 1 sneakers. This controversy from the NBA would turn out to be a good thing as Nike realized they could capitalize on the publicity and turn it in their favor. So Nike told Jordan to keep wearing his shoes and that they would pay the fines from the NBA. The bold look of the Air Jordan 1 plus Jordan's exciting play, which won him Rookie of the Year, helped to grow Nike's popularity among basketball fans. The success of the Air Jordan 1 sneakers also led to the release of many more Air Jordan models, each with its own unique design and colorways. The Air Jordan line quickly became a status symbol and a must-have for sneaker enthusiasts. It seemed like everywhere you looked, someone famous was wearing a pair of Air Jordans. From Will Smith wearing the Air Jordan 5s in the opening of his popular TV show The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, to the popular scene in Spike Lee's 1989 classic Do the Right Thing, where a white character in a Larry Bird t-shirt accidentally runs his bike over a black man's brand new Air Jordan 4s. Speaking of director Spike Lee, another film of his, She's Gotta Have It, which was released in 1986, had the main character Mars Blackman, who was played by Lee, as a sneakerhead who loved Air Jordans. This character and his love for the Air Jordan shoe line gave Nike a unique and even iconic marketing idea. Nike started putting out a series of commercials with Michael Jordan featuring Spike Lee as his character Mars Blackman. In the commercials, Mars Blackman tries to figure out how Jordan became so good at basketball. And he lists a few reasons, but it always goes back to the famous line, "It has gotta be the shoes." Even after MJ himself says it isn't the shoes that make him great at basketball, Mars doesn't believe him, still stating that it is the shoes. This commercial was a hit for Nike and their Air Jordan shoes. It grew their image so much that a new meaning started to come behind owning a pair of Nike Air Jordans. A pair of Air Jordans was what you needed to establish yourself in most neighborhoods. They acted as somewhat of a symbol of status, and unfortunately, this has led to some tragic situations. During the 1980s and 1990s, a pair of Air Jordans averaged over $100, and for many kids, their parents couldn't afford to get them a pair. If there's one thing we can say the Jordan brand and Nike have failed at, it is making their shoes more affordable. The Air Jordan shoes are truly remarkable. From their distinct styles to the technology that changed the shoe game, there's no doubt these shoes would have gained popularity no matter whose names was attached to them. Still, the shoe would have never grown to be as big as it had become, and Nike, as a matter of fact, if it weren't for the play of Michael Jordan. First, Jordan became a star from his incredible scoring prowess, which includes averaging 37.1 points per game in the 1986-87 season. Jordan was incredible on the offensive end, but what separated him from other stars at the time like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird was the level of defense he played. In his prime, Jordan was not only the best offensive player in the league, but arguably the best defensive player as well. Jordan proved the doubters at the time who said he was only a scorer by winning the 1987-88 Defensive Player of the Year award, largely thanks to recording over 200 steals and 100 blocks in the season. Jordan became the first player to achieve this stat, which he actually first recorded the year before when he averaged 37.1 points per game, and then a second time in 1987-88 when he still managed to average 35 points during the season. To this day, only two NBA players have ever achieved this incredible stat: Michael Jordan in the 1986-87 and 1987-88 seasons, and his teammate Scottie Pippen recorded this in the 1989-90 season. The basketball world fell in love with the skinny kid from North Carolina, and the more popular he became, the more popular his shoes were. Fans loved his high-flying act, from soaring over a bigger opponent, slamming it in their faces with his tongue hanging out, to winning 2 slam dunk contests. Everything Jordan did, people thought was extremely cool. Even during his struggles when Jordan was getting physically beaten up by the bad boy Detroit Pistons, led by Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer, fans didn't run away from admiring him. In fact, their admiration for Jordan grew. Here was a player that seemingly could do it all on the basketball court, yet when he played the Pistons, he appeared to be playing 5-on-1. And despite losing 3 straight playoff series, the way Jordan stood up to the bullies of the NBA made every little kid that didn't have much in life feel like they could stand up to anyone at any time. Still, Jordan and his fans wanted to see him on basketball's biggest stage, the NBA Finals, and they wanted to see him become a champion. All he needed was just a little help from his teammates, and he'd get that finally in the 1990-1991 season. Jordan was on top of his game, and his teammates, led by Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, were finally ready to step up to the table and help his heirs out. The Chicago Bulls dominated the regular season, finishing with a 61-21 record, securing the number 1 spot in the East. In the playoffs, no Eastern Conference team would put up much of a fight against Jordan's Bulls, including the Detroit Pistons, who got swept by Jordan's Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now in the NBA Finals, Jordan was ready to take on the previously most popular player in the league, Magic Johnson, and his Lakers. After dropping Game 1, the Bulls pulled up 4 straight wins to become champions, and Michael Jordan rightfully was named the Finals MVP. Yes, Michael Jordan was the most popular player in the league, been that way for years, but now he was also an NBA champion. There was no stopping MJ now, and there was no stopping the Nike Air Jordan shoe line as well. As Jordan's game grew, so did the technology and the style of his Air Jordans. From having crisscross straps and a polyurethane midsole in the Air Jordan 8s to the reflective tongue in the Air Jordan 5s, there seemed to be nothing the designer of the Air Jordan shoe wouldn't try. The original designer of the Air Jordan shoe line was Peter Moore, and Bruce Kilgore helped to design the Air Jordan 2, although they did a good job on the Air Jordan 1 and Air Jordan 2 shoes. The designer who took over for Air Jordan 3s would help create the global obsession with the look of the Jordan shoe line. Tinker Hatfield is the designer who took over as designer of Air Jordan shoes for Nike starting in 1988 with the release of the Air Jordan 3s. Nike founder Phil Knight once said that even after the release of the first 2 Air Jordan shoes, Jordan was still considering leaving Nike for Adidas once his contract was up. Then Hatfield worked on the Air Jordan 3 and he worked with MJ on the design, letting the NBA star have a lot more input on the shoe design than he did in the previous 2 models. And the shoe was a massive hit. This led to the Air Jordan brand becoming even more popular than it previously was, and it helped to convince Jordan to stay with Nike and forget Adidas once and for all. Another thing that would change on the Air Jordan 3 shoe compared to the first 2 models was the Air Jordan logo. The original logo was dubbed the Jordan Wings logo, and it featured a basketball sitting on the 3 overlapping wings with a banner above the ball that said Air Jordan. This logo played on the theme of Jordan's ability to soar through the air when he was going for a slam dunk. When Hatfield took over as designer, he wanted to give his version of the Air Jordans a different logo to make it feel fresh. The question now was, what should the logo look like? There has been some controversy about where and how the iconic Jumpman logo originated. The logo itself is relatively simple, yet very effective. The logo is simply a silhouette of Jordan going for a slam dunk, but he is in an awkward position. The Jumpman logo features Jordan leaping through the air with the basketball in hand, with his legs spread apart. Many fans believe this was taken from an image of Jordan dunking at an NBA game, but that is not the true origin of the logo. The Jumpman logo was not designed by Tinker Hatfield, but by the original Air Jordan designer Peter Moore. The way Moore came up with the idea of the silhouette was from an image of Michael Jordan before he ever stepped foot on an NBA court. Most fans who do know a little about the story believe the inspiration for the Jordan silhouette came from a 1985 Air Jordan 1 photo shoot, where Jordan jumps up towards a basketball hoop performing the exact pose of the logo. Jordan once spoke about this image in 1997 when he gave an interview for Hoop magazine. "I wasn't even dunking on that one. People think I was. I just stood on the floor, jumped up and spread my legs and they took the picture. I wasn't even running. Everyone thought I did that by running and taking off. Actually, it was a ballet move where I jumped and spread my legs and I was holding the ball in my left hand." This photo is iconic, but there are claims that this is not the original inspiration. Michael Jordan played for the Team USA in the 1984 Olympic Games and did a photo shoot at the University of North Carolina for Life magazine wearing his Team USA Olympic outfit. In the photo, Jordan is basically doing the same Jumpman pose with a basketball, but the funny thing is, in this photo, Jordan is actually wearing a pair of New Balance basketball shoes. This photo was taken before Jordan ever took that famous meeting with Nike. And the photographer of the photo, Jacobus Rentmeester, claims Nike took the idea of the Jumpman from his photo, not the one Nike took in 1985, recreating a very similar jumping position for Jordan. On January 22, 2015, Rentmeester sued Nike for copyright infringement over the use of the Jumpman logo. Rentmeester claimed that he gave Nike temporary permission to use his photo for the logo and that he deserved to be compensated fairly. Back in March 1985, Rentmeester threatened to sue the Nike over the use of the photo, which was inspired by his Life magazine photo, and Nike agreed to pay $15,000 for the right to continue using the Nike logo on posters and billboards in North America for 2 years. Rentmeester alleged that Nike continued to use the photo past the 2-year agreement and, of course, their Jumpman logo, and never paid him any more money. Fast forward back to the 2015 lawsuit. The suit ended up going to a federal court in Portland, Oregon, but the amount of Rentmeester was suing for was not released. In 2018, the court was determined that the Nike photographer who took the 1985 promotional photo of Jordan copied the idea of Rentmeester's photo, but not the details of the actual Olympic photo. The court stated that for it to be copyright infringement, Nike would have had to make their photo an exact replica. In the 1985 Nike photo, Jordan had completely straight limbs combined with other elements convey mainly a sense of vertical propulsion, while in Rentmeester's photo, Jordan has his arms and legs bent slightly. So Nike walked away as the winner in the suit, and they continue to use their logo freely to this day. The Air Jordan shoe line continued to grow during the 1990s when the Chicago Bulls continued to win championships. The Bulls won 3 straight titles from 1991 to 1993, then Jordan abruptly retired before the 1993-94 season to play baseball. And once he returned in March of 1995, MJ would lead the Bulls to 3 more titles in a row from 1996 to 1998. Jordan took more control of his shoe line on September 9, 1997, when the Jordan brand was created. The Jordan brand became a subsidiary of Nike, making it still a part of Nike, but essentially its own brand. Since then, the Jordan brand has grown to incredible heights, as they've signed some of the top athletes in all of sports today and in the past. This includes current NBA stars like Luka Doncic, Chris Paul and Zion Williamson. The Jordan brand also had baseball legend Derek Jeter signed with the brand, as well as NFL great Randy Moss and soccer star Neymar. One of the most interesting and crazy facts is how well Jordan shoes sell to this day compared to current NBA stars and their signature shoes. In a report by Forbes in 2019, Jordan brand shoes made $130 million annually. This was better than any current player by a mile. The player in second place was none other than the player who is in all of the greatest of all time debates with Jordan, LeBron James. In 2019, LeBron's Nike shoes only brought in $32 million, which falls well short of Jordan's incredible $130 million. How can this be? A player that has been retired from playing for now decades, still outselling the stars of today. It is because of the legend of Michael Jordan. From watching Jordan soar through the air in a fresh pair of J's to the iconic ads of the Looney Tunes character Bugs Bunny wearing his own pair of Air Jordan 7s to the movie commercial-inspired Space Jam and Jordan wearing the Air Jordan 11s. From Jordan's gutsy performance while sick as a dog in what is known as the flu game in Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals, as Jordan dominated the Utah Jazz while wearing the Air Jordan 12s, to the following year when Jordan buried the Jazz with his championship-clinching jumper over Brian Russell while wearing the Air Jordan 14s in Game 6 of the 1998 Finals. These moments will live on forever in all of us fans that were lucky enough to see it live. And our stories to the younger generations also keep the Jordan lore from ever dying. The impact of the Air Jordan sneakers on the sneaker industry is immeasurable. It paved the way for other sports stars to have their own signature lines, and the demand for limited edition sneakers created a whole new market for resellers and collectors. The Jordan brand is now a global phenomenon with collaborations with other brands and designers and a loyal fan base that spans generations.